everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Journalist Talk. And today I have here with me Luisa Rodriguez. She's a digital content producer for Cali 93.9, and she's also an entertainment news journalist and host for Chicano Hollywood. Thank you so much for coming.
Hello, Bea. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be on your show. So
Let's go. I'm very excited to have you here. And as the first thing that I always do with my guests, could you give my listeners a brief biography about yourself?
Yes. So like you mentioned already, I work in the entertainment industry. And prior to that, I was a CSUN student. I graduated, so I'm an alumna from CSUN Journalism College. Now I just focus on work, creating content, and yeah, pretty much that.
There you go. That's a good intro. It's good. Everybody describes themselves like in a different way, so that is yours.
Yes.
My first question to you would be, how did you get into journalism?
Okay, so the way that I got into journalism, actually, I knew I wanted to be in this industry, and I knew that I wanted to kind of be on TV. But I didn't know how. So when I first started, I thought it was through acting. But so I was taking multiple classes in LACC. And one day I was watching the E-News, which is the Oscars. They cover the E-News, the red carpet. And when I was watching it, my mom's friend was over that day. And she was like, oh, you love watching this, because I watch it every day. And I told her, yes, this is the thing that I would love to do. But I didn't know what it was called at the time. And she looks at me and says, Luisa, then why don't you become a journalist? And I looked at her and I said, no, that's like boring. That's just writing. I thought it was just writing, but I did not understand, or I didn't know that there was different mediums to becoming a journalist. So when she said, no, you go into broadcast and that's what they are. What do you think the reporters are? They're journalists. And it was like if a light bulb just went off like in my head. And I decided from that point on that I was going to pursue a career in journalism. And that week I went to my counselor. I told her I want to be a journalist. Like, how can I get there? And so we did a roadmap of the classes I needed. And I transferred to CSUN and I joined all the possible classes, and I did everything that I could, internships, everything, just to pretty much get in this industry. So that's where it started. My mom's friend is the one who told me.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you said that you did some internships while you were in college. Can you go a little bit on that? How was the experience? And also where? What did you do?
Yes. So I interned at Power 106. That was my first internship. And I got that internship through a classmate. So he had interned there before. And I remember talking to him. We were actually in Valley View at the time. Like, I don't remember the class number, but we were sitting down and we were writing. And I mentioned to him, like, hey, I'm struggling finding an internship because it was hard. No one was taking interns. And I was very nervous because it was my last year. So for me, I felt like I need to get an internship now because I can't just go out into the workforce with no internship. And he told me, he was like, hey, there's this radio station. It's a hip hop radio station. That's where I interned. It's not anywhere in what you want to do, but if you need an internship, you can try there. And I was so desperate for an internship that I said, okay, let me reach out. So I reached out. I got an interview, and that's how I got the internship. But it was through his connection, because he reached out to the hosts of the morning show at the time for Power 106. And he said, hey, I have a classmate who I think would be good for this internship. And so he connected me to the hosts, and then the hosts interviewed me, and they decided that I would be a good fit for the show. So that's how I got my first internship. And through that, it opened multiple doors to other internships. I then got a second internship at Muse TV. And that was through another girl that was an intern there. And her name is Stephanie. She's amazing. And she mentioned to me about her friend being an intern at Muse TV. And I'm such a nosy person. So I Googled, oh, what is Muse TV? Because I heard TV and, I wanted to see what it was. But it was a a social media platform, like a digital media platform, where they were doing interviews and they were going to red carpets, and that's what I wanted to do. So I just decided to reach out, because the worst thing they can tell me is no. So I decided to reach out, and they saw that I was already in an actual radio station interning, and that's how they took me to. So, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Muse TV wasn't too strange when I was like researching about you, because I feel like one of my friends also interned there, because I was like, this is very like similar to something that I've heard. So I don't know.
Yes.
It might have been the same person or no.
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe. But you said that it was a hip hop radio station.
Yes.
Are you any fan of hip hopping, or you're just like
Not-
fake it until you make it, or just like they hired you even though like it wasn't your forte?
Yes. So I'm very thankful for one of the hosts. His name is Teddy Mora. He was amazing. He was very helpful. He called me before my interview and said, hey, I just want to give you a few tips. Research these media outlets. Do your homework on these websites. These are the websites that we get our news from. So he kind of gave me like a outline of what I should look into, because he knew that hip hop was not anywhere near my strength or forte at all. Like, I did not know anything about hip hop aside from the main songs that they played on the radio, or the main like hit songs, And so I did my research. So it was thanks to him, but I didn't really know anything about hip hop. I was pretty new, like a noob.
How about now? Are you a pro?
No, actually, I'm pretty good now. I can name quite a few rappers, artists, all the trending stuff that is happening on social. I can, I'm up to date with most of the news, but I'm not a fan of, like, let's say, back in the days of the 90s, early 2000s. So I don't know all of hip hop, but I do know the current hip hop now. So I think if I can give anyone any advice in terms of like getting an internship, even if it's not your forte, or even if you don't know that, that type of it could be news or type of reporting, whatever the case is, just go for it, because you're going to learn on the spot. You're literally going to learn as you're doing it. So I learned as I was doing it.
That's true. I tried out to do an internship in I think it was like a rap hip hop also radio station. And I have like cousins that they listen to like that type of music. So I was like, I can try to cheat and try like fake it until you make it, but I was like, that's definitely not something that I master. But like, if you ask me about Taylor Swift, yes.
Oh yes, yes,
know.
Yeah, and I think just being up on everything pop culture, especially if you want to go into like the digital world of just news, editorials and all that, just being well versed in pop culture or trending popular culture, because they're all going to merge at some point. Like at some point, everything's going to connect.
Yeah. And, thinking about it, working with entertainment can be kind of difficult, because you are still a journalist, so you have to be objective in the story.
Yes.
But if you're doing entertainment, people sometimes they want to put their opinion on it.
Yes.
It's just like with sports, same thing. You have like a team that you like best than the other one, and how do you draw this line, and how you do it until now, like with your job?
Yeah, so it sometimes it can be hard, because like you mentioned, you want to put your spin to it, and in entertainment news, it's better if you kind of do, where I don't know if you've seen some social media pages where they'll tease certain stories like, oh, who's waiting in line for the new release of, I don't know, these Jordans that are coming out or something. It's very, you can tell that the writer or the person posting is a fan of whatever news they're giving. So it's very hard to stay kind of objective. One way that I do it is when I'm reporting a story or I'm posting a story, let's say it's about, just because I'm a reggaeton station, a Bad Bunny story. And instead of finding photos that kind of fit the narrative of whatever emotion I'm trying to convey, I try to find photos that are neutral. Like, because if you've noticed, like TMZ, I'll give you an example. TMZ will post a photo if they say, Bad Bunny was caught kissing Kendall Jenner. Then they'll post a photo of Bad Bunny looking shocked. Like, they'll get photos to kind of convey subtly an emotion for you to feel like, oh my gosh, this
famous
is
clickbait.
Yeah, scandalous. Or so the way that I stay neutral is getting photos from Getty, but that are just headshots, trying to, so then the reader can form their own opinion, whether they care about that or not, or they're for that. So that's what I do. That's one way I do it. And also just reporting the news and not putting my like little sazon to it.
Yeah. But, I feel like you can put some things, like, different. There's a few stories that we write at KCSN, like, me and other writers, that, you can tease with a few songs of the person. Like, you're telling the story, but you, like, put a title of it.
Yes.
And I saw that it's, like, a very cool TikTok trend. Like, how many times can I put, like, Olivia Rodrigo or One Direction in my newscast or whatever? And I thought, like, I might do that someday.
Oh, yes, that would be amazing. I think you can do it.
I am still, like, a very beginner on TikTok. So I have, like, 4 videos of me, like, doing radio stuff.
I know, but that's cool because you never know what's going to hit. And that's something that I noticed, too. Personally, on my TikTok, I posted 2 videos back to back, one on Friday, one on Saturday. The one on Friday was a simple video of me eating at Costco, and I wanted to try a TikTok trend. I posted the video, and it's at 30,000 views right now. And then I posted a second video on Saturday, which I thought would get a lot of engagement, which was trying the ranch ice cream. But it was more behind the scenes type. And that one only has 500 views. Oh. So, yeah. And so you never know. But I say that to say, post all your videos, girl. Like, post all of it. Funny ones, newsy ones, whatever you want to post, just post it, because you don't know what's going to be the video that someone might see and will say, oh, I like Bea. Like, I want her to intern with us, or I want to, let me reach out to her. So, yeah. Yeah,
that is something that I remember from the Women in Panel Media that we brought you and 3 other former
season alumni.
Alumni, yeah. And, you guys told us that everybody's watching everything that we do on social media. And that just, like, brought me an awareness. Not because I was doing, like, something wrong, but, like, I can post even more. And how is that experience for you? Did someone that hired you or that works with you ever told you, like, hey, I saw that a few, I don't know how long ago, and I thought it was really cool?
Yeah, so the way that I got my job with Chicano Hollywood was because they reached out to me. So we initially got in contact. I went to McDonald's was hosting their very first, like, award show, kind of, for filmmakers, because for Latino filmmakers. So it's called a Spotlight Dorado event. And so they already had their winner. This was a year-long process. So this was the final award to give this winner. I think it was $50,000. So they invited media to go out and to report this story and stuff. So I went. And there, in the after party, I connected with a girl who was from Chicano Hollywood. And so we followed each other that night. And then I left. I went home, thought nothing of it. I was posting my videos, my like real videos of entertainment news. And I got a DM one day from Chicano Hollywood telling me, hey, we would love for you to do something similar in our channel for us. We love the look that you have. We love the way that you report. Let's meet up. So I told them, okay, let's go to lunch. And we had lunch and we set up a schedule, and that's how we connected. And now I work with them in weekly videos about Latinos in entertainment. So yes, everyone's watching. You don't know who's watching your stuff. And then I also got, someone reached out to me after I was announced with Chicano Hollywood, I guess they went to my page and they reached out and they wanted to do a podcast with me too. So again, post everything and anything related to what you do, what you want to do, post it, because you don't know who's watching, and they do watch.
Yeah, I love that. So please, if you're watching this,
yes, go follow Bea. Go look at all her
I'm graduating in spring 2024.
Yes.
You know, you gotta do a selfless promo
all the
very
time.
Shameful.
No. I'm gonna put you on the story out with a big like at Bea. I'll put it a huge. Yes.
I love that. And I wanted to touch a little more on Latina and women in media.
Mm-hmm.
We're both Latina.
Yes.
We're both women. And we're
Yes.
in media.
Yes.
So tell me more about your experience being part of, like, two minorities, if I may say it like that.
Yes.
And, you know, even so, being like entertainment, I feel like people say that there's quite a lot of, like, male presence on it. How do you make your name on it?
So yes, I think that the industry is changing now. At least for me personally in radio and where I work, the majority is actually women. Like our radio station is it's led by 3 women. So I think it's changing. It's not where it should be, but it's definitely not where it used to be. And the way that I kind of let my name be heard, or I stand in a room, let's say full of men or full of people who might doubt me, is I try to remind myself that I am there because I earned it, not because it was a mistake or not because it was I was lucky. No, it's because of all the hard work, all the emails, all the like conversations and networking things that I've done. It's so I deserve to be there, and I try to remind myself that. And even if I'm not confident, I remind myself to like keep my head high, kind of parallel to my legs, so I don't drop my chin, and I just try to remind myself that I'm meant to be there. And that's one way. And then also talking clearly and not very like slang or anything, just to show that I'm there because I want to work. I'm there because I know what I'm talking about. And it doesn't mean that I have to be the loudest person in the room, but it means that if I ever need to input an opinion or give my thought, then I say it eloquently, so where they notice that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I hope that helps. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very insightful, to be honest. It's, you know, you try to be, when you're a student or you're an intern, you try to be always like a little head down, but if you like, just like get your chin a little bit up and you want the respect of like that place or like your professors, boss, mentors, everybody, it's very important.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about your part as digital content producer.
Yes.
Okay, so we know that to be a journalist, again, we have to be objective and we have to put content with like that are worth to be news. They have to have like proximity, timeliness, all the other things. And there's also trends. Mainly if you are like using TikTok, Instagram, you know, there are trends. And how do you make your professional posts go with the trends going on?
It's something that I try to do. I'll give you a most recent example. Chicano Hollywood just posted today a video that I made of the last week for Women's History Month. So I decided, okay, well, I need to make this somehow current, fun, so people can actually watch the video. And the way that I did it was I just decided to name 5 Latinas who are the first in this industry. So first to get an Oscar, first to get an Emmy, first to get a Grammy, first to win, to earn a certain amount of money. So that's how I try to tie it into a current news, which would be, it's Women's History Month. It's the end of Women's History Month. Then tie it in with celebrities. So that's how I'd make it pop culture. And then also tie it with like information, things that people don't know. So I used all those 3 things to make the video kind of up to date and kind of catchy, instead of just doing hi, it's Women's History Month. And then people are not going to pay attention to that, And then tying it into the community is, instead of picking any woman, I picked Latina women. So I think there's always like ways you can spin things around. Sometimes there's things that I cannot spin into news, like the ranch, the ranch ice cream. And I only say that because it's the most recent one I did. There's no way to make that news aside from the fact that they launched the collaboration, Yeah. And then even in that, the way that I tied it in, when I posted the video on Callie's social media page, I put a little photo of the article that I did, like the little post, 2 weeks prior, announcing that they were going to be doing a collaboration. So that is a news post because it's two companies coming together to do this collaboration for Ranch Day. And then I tied it back to the video of our talent trying this ranch. So that's how I kind of tied everything together. But I just find different ways in how things can connect. And I think as journalists, it's very easy to connect the dots, connect different things that are happening. How is it going to be impactful either in our community as Latinas or Latinos or first generation? Or it's kind of easy for us because we know so much to tie things together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. You're fine. And also, when I was stalking professionally,
yes,
we even talked a little before coming into the podcast and actually recording. You were a sorority girl.
Yes.
And besides all of that, I have a roommate that she is now like involved with a sorority, and there is like social media, organization, party planning. And, some of those skills can help you as a journalist. Mm-hmm. So did you have, like, any functions? I don't know if that worked that way also in your sorority. I have no idea how it works. But, like, which skills or how having that experience helped you a little bit on what you do nowadays?
Something that in the sorority world that was helpful was recruitment. So I don't know, did you ever go through recruitment at all?
No.
Okay, so recruitment is not as intense as you see in movies, but it's essentially when girls that are transferring to the college go to your sorority house and you have a conversation with them. But it's not just a regular conversation like, hey, girl, it's about, hi, how are you? Like, very nice to meet you. What is your major? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are some things that interest you? So kind of it's literally networking. It's because you're trying to see if they will be the best fit, if you guys fit, It's like saying if there's a sorority, a medical sorority, let's say a sorority within medicine, and then there's a sorority that's like cosmetology. I don't know. But the person that majors in medicine would rather be surrounded with people that are studying medicine as well. And so it's kind of talking to girls, seeing how they vibe with other sisters. And it's not talking to just one girl. So we do a 10-minute rotation. It could be 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You talk to one girl, then you move on to another girl, then you move on to another girl. And then these girls also get to talk to different sisters. So they'll get to talk to one girl, then they get to talk to another girl, because every sister is so different that they get to see, oh, maybe I didn't click with her, but I really liked her, and I like that we have the same major. And so the sorority tries to put 5 different majors, and if we know that 15 girls are coming in for that round, then there'll be 5 girls with all different majors talking to each of these girls, So I would say that's how my sorority world helped me in learning how to quickly talk to people, connect with people, because you need to do that within not even 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, be able to connect, talk, interact. So that's how I think sorority world really helped me, is through recruitment and doing it multiple times.
Oh, yeah. Besides seeming like a very good networking place, this rotation that you were describing, it feels like a job interview as well. I don't know if that helped you preparing. You have to fit with the other person. If you don't fit for the job, it's like a disconnection. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of like you go back and forth. Also, it teaches you how to dress. So during recruitment, we're not going to just go in like not baggy pants, in like sweats and just any type of athleisure clothes. We want to dress our best. So whoever the girl that comes in and sees our house says, wow, I want to be a part of that. That's like an honor for us, because it's like, okay, like we are trying to look great for the new girls that are coming into the house. So yeah, I think it does help in job interviews too, because you kind of know already, again, connecting right away, talking to them right away, knowing what to say, and just prepping. It helps a lot.
And you're doing news entertainment as a host and also digital content producer. Which one do you prefer doing and why?
So for me, I prefer to do hosting. So I prefer to be an entertainment news host. That is my goal. I used social media as an entryway into this industry because I did not have the experience, nor did I have a lot of internships in my belt to be able to go in and say, hey, I want to do hosting. Hey, I want to do this. And it doesn't really work that way. So I think understanding that in order to get in, you have to do use your skills and go in one way or another. And I use that through social media. So in social media, that is how I got into this industry. And that's how I'm slowly, branching out now with Chicano Hollywood. Now I'm doing more hosting. Now I'm more on camera. And then also going to more red carpet events and movie screenings, and I'm creating little videos and reels about these different movies that I'm attending, reaching out to, just creating a following of people, because eventually that is going to be beneficial. In the world we live in now, it's all about your social media. How do you present yourself online? Do you have a following? Because ultimately, these companies, these big media companies, or these companies are also looking at, let's say they hire you as a host, then they want to see will your followers also follow you? And so then they'll get followers too, not through social, but I'm saying whether it's on TV, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on radio, these people will follow you to listen to you. So it's creating that follow base that will help kind of lift you up as well.
Yeah, that's great. And would you say that your social media was kind of like a personal project? For example, I have this podcast, which is something in the media that, it's out there. It's journalism I'm doing here. All by myself, because I'm passionate about hearing about people's stories, and that's what I do.
Yes.
I literally put journalists in the wrong place of the table.
Yes.
I'm literally interviewing all of you guys. And I was wondering, was your social media your personal project, or did you do anything else before while you were in college?
I can't explain how much I love social media. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I love social media. So I've always done social media in any capacity. It could be, let's say, if you bring a cake in right now into this studio, I will literally pick up my phone and say, oh my gosh, look, we got a cake. And put it on my story. I love social media. And I started so MySpace came out. So I don't think I started right when MySpace came out, because I just remember being in 6th grade. So I was in 6th grade, and we finally got a computer, and I went on MySpace, and I fell in love, because MySpace, you're able to create pretty backgrounds. You were able to design your whole page. You're able to create your best friends, your top 5, your top 8. And so since then, I've always transitioned with the times. So it was MySpace, then it was Facebook, then from Facebook it was Instagram, and it's still Instagram, but now it's more TikTok. And I think TikTok is really dominating now. And so I think just moving along with the trends and with the different platforms that are coming into play. Yeah, it was a personal project. I love social media. Whether I am in the industry or not, I will always do social media. And because I knew that it was a skill that I loved, I used that to get into this industry. So I knew, okay, this is the digital age. All these media places are looking for social people. This is the time where if you are trying to get in, use social media. If you love social media, use that as an advantage to get in, because they're looking for social media people. And in your resume, you can literally say, I have 2 years experience, 3 years experience. Like, even if you do a on-campus page, if you help run a campus page, that's experience, because it's not a personal page. You're curating a brand. So use that to get into any type of media place you want to get into. Get in through there, meet the people that are there, and then just start reaching out, then creating little, whether it's videos like me, you know, that you want to do. And that's how you get in. And that's how I knew I love social media. I'm going to use this tool that I have, that I know that I'm good at, and get into this industry. So yes, it was a personal project. And then it turned to work.
Yeah, no, now that you were talking, I was just thinking, because being a social media content and, you know, creator and producing stuff, and thinking of posts of what you're going to do, how to increase your following. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're very far away from in our age, but I used to have a bunch of fan pages on Instagram.
Oh,
and,
nice.
you know, you have to, like, think of the days that you're going to post content, the type of content, if you're going to post a video, if you're going to create, like, a new edit thing that it was, like, so cool, and, like, a bunch of those apps were coming out and stuff, and, like, growing your following. Like, I remember I had a fan page that reached, like, 15,000 people.
Oh, that's amazing. You can use that as, you can literally use that on your resume and say, I grew, did you start the page?
Yeah.
Then you can say, I grew and created, I don't know, I'm going to say Taylor Swift because you said Taylor Swift. A fan page, a very well-known fan page, maybe not fan page. But you can kind of word it to where you say you created and curated all the content on this social media page, and you grew it 100%. Like, that was all you.
You were talking that, and I was thinking, like, that's something that it's kind of hard to, you know, I was, 12 to, like, 16, 17 when I was, like, with the page. So, like, you know, I have to be creative to have, like, people following and liking stuff, so.
You can even say a pioneer during, I don't know what year that was, but you can say pioneered one of the first pages for social media, I don't know, something, you know, but just using those words like mastering, pioneering, leading, spearheading, grew a page 100%. Use percentages better than numbers, because once they see percentages, they'll see, oh, okay, so she grew it over 50. No, she grew it over 100%. So that was all you, from 0 to whatever 15,000 that you had. And include that as years of experience, because again, it wasn't your personal page. You were curating a brand. You were doing stuff, you know?
Not me re-listening to this podcast while I'm doing my resume again. So if you guys want, like, synonyms, you just drop, like, 4.
Yes.
That was great. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, they're very helpful, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Hey listeners, I have a great news for you. I'm here to incentivize you to create your own podcast just like me. I couldn't think of a better partner than Buzzsprout, and I recommend them for you as a beginner in podcasting. Buzzsprout can help you with publishing your own podcast in every major platform, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. They also automatically publish on your personalized website, and they give you all the statistics in detail that you want. To start your own podcast and to win a $20 Amazon gift card, follow the instructions on the link in my show notes. If I can do it, you can do it too. Good luck on creating your very own podcast. You said that you were covering red carpets and you have, like, a bigger access, I would say right now, like, with celebrities, talents, and everything else. Have you ever got starstruck? Like, when you were interviewing someone, or, like, that was like a blooper or
that
something?
was in a studio. I wouldn't say starstruck. I think I know a celebrity that if I were to ever meet, I could be starstruck, and that would be Viola Davis. I love her so much. If I were to meet her, I think I would like pass out or just fall to my knees and just cry or something because she's amazing.
She's a EGOT winner right
yes,
now.
I know. She's the 18th EGOT winner. So I love her. So she would probably be a person that I would be starstruck for. But the rest of the artists that I've met quite a few. There isn't any. I would say probably when I got the job at Cali, I worked maybe 3 days later, 3 days after getting my job as the social media for Cali. They told me, okay, now you're going to meet Angelica Vale. And I remember I was like, what? And I was so nervous because I knew that I was going to be the social media for the whole station, but I didn't know that I was also going to be for the morning show. So majority of my time would be morning show and then as well as the whole station. So I remember meeting her and I was like, just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be working with this woman. And, you know, she's a legend in Mexico and in Spanish television and, you know, in telenovelas. So I was really nervous. And I remember driving to work. So I met her and I remember meeting her and telling her, hi, nice to meet you. How do you want me to call you? Because everyone was calling her Angie. And then to me, it was Angelica. It's Angelica Vale. And she was like, oh, you can call me Angie. And I said, are you sure? Whatever you want me to call you, I will call you. And she was like, yeah, Angie works. And I was like, okay, well, nice to meet you, Angie. And I shook her hand. And I was like, oh, my goodness. Then the next day they told me, okay, come in at 8 a.m. You're going to go in the studio with her. And, you know, you're going to talk about the content, whatever you're going to post. So I said, okay. And I was driving to work that morning. I cannot even explain to you how nervous I was. My stomach was like in knots and I just kept driving. And I even remember every step I took closer to the studio, I was like just breathing in, so nervous. But then I finally opened the door and I was like, Luisa, you deserve to be here. You belong here. You know, just, you got this. So I opened the door and I just smiled. I looked at her and I said, hi. And then I sat down. And yeah, she was super kind and she's amazing. She's like, I would have never expected someone to be so kind and so humble as her because, you know, you hear stories about celebrities all the time, but working with her hands-on, it's wow. It's like your whole perspective changes. And then the way that you see her, the way that she works, the way that she just carries herself is just, honestly, 10 out of 10, and I learned so much from her. So probably her, because I had to work with her one-on-one. I was very starstruck at the beginning.
I don't know if your listeners can, like, get the excitement on her voice, but seeing you talk about this experience, it's, like, so funny because it's very, like, you're actually a bigger fan of her. So.
Oh, yeah!
So you can see it. It's amazing when you get, like, to do something that you love with people that you've been admiring for like yes. I don't know how long.
Yes, like I watched her novelas like Soñadoras when I was I think 10, but I watched that novela and I remember seeing her and also Amigas y Rivales. So it was just so nice. It was a full circle moment and I'm still thankful that I get to work with her every day. You know, I still work with her now. So it's just a blessing, but it would probably be her. Yeah.
Going back a little in our like Latina heritage, do you use a lot of Spanish in your day-to-day at Chicano Hollywood, or would you like to use a little more? How does that work?
So at home, with my mom, it's mostly English, but with my grandma, I speak more Spanish. But coming into this Spanglish radio station, which is Cali, I've had to really tap into my Spanish, like literally 100% speak Spanish, write Spanish, read Spanish, because a lot of the news or notas, you know, son en español. So yeah, and it's been nice because I've been able to brushen up my Spanish. I learned Spanish first and then I learned English. So it's nice to finally now be using my Spanish again.
Can you walk us through like a day in your life? I don't know if you do like both of your jobs in the same day or if like it changes because of like events and everything else. Can you walk us through it?
Yes. Okay. So typically, Cali, I do every day from through Friday. Chicano Hollywood, I do on the weekends, or depending on whenever I have scheduled the interview with the talent or whoever I'm interviewing. But typically, I try to schedule the interview for Friday, so then I have the weekend to edit for Chicano Hollywood. And then I send them the video over. They do like either minor edits or they, put it in the queue, and then they post it up on their page. But for Cali, it's every day. So I wake up at 5 in the morning. I get ready. I go to the station. I'm there typically 5:30, 6 in between those hours. I get there, then I start looking at news. I'll look. Wait, you want in detail, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Kind of? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much time we have, and I don't want to take up all your time.
No, we have like a bunch of time.
Okay,
Don't
good.
worry.
Okay, so perfect. So yeah, so I wake up and then I get there between 5:30, 6 in the morning. I start looking at what is news, what is reggaeton news. So I like to encompass a lot of things. If you look at other radio stations or other media outlets that are in Spanish or Spanglish, they may only incorporate news stuff, or other radio stations that are Spanish may only incorporate artists, like only artists and not news. But I feel like with Cali, I wanted to take the approach of incorporating everything, because we consume everything. People are consuming everything, whether it's news, music, chismes, especially as Latinos, el chisme is always there. So I look at the news. I'll look at the news, see what relates to our Latino audience. Then I look at entertainment news. I'll look at the social media pages of artists. So I'm also a stalker. I'll be stalking artist pages, whether it's Karol G, Rauw Alejandro, Bad Bunny, all the artists, Becky G, you name it. Then I'm also looking at, I'm trying to think. Sometimes recently, weather has been a topic of discussion only because of all this, like the cyclones that have happened, the rain, so it also varies. But I try to make our content like a whole 360 content, in giving a little bit of news, giving a little bit of community, giving a little bit of entertainment, giving a little bit of music, and a little bit of our talent. Because again, we are a radio station and we have talent, like our parts, our day parts. So I spend the morning doing that, and then the show has already started. We start from 5 in the morning to 10 a.m. And then I'll record specific segments for the morning show page. So we do a Se Vale o No Se Vale. I'll record that. I edit it on the spot. That's something I don't know if people may know or not, but as a social media person, you have to be ready to edit, because you're posting in real time. Typically, you should be posting in real time because it's social media. Like, that's 24/7. If something funny is happening in the studio, I guarantee you there are fans and people waiting. Not only they've heard it, but now they want to see it. And so I'll record different segments. I have about 4 or 3 different segments that I record every day, and I post them up on social. Depending if it's a good day in content, then everything will get posted. But if it's a day where the content is kind of not the greatest, and I can see, okay, this will pick up traction, this may not get traction, then I'll post. It's in my prerogative to post or not. But I do that. The show ends, and then I focus also on Cali on our main page, and I post some of the things that I've done for the morning show. I'll post them in Cali's main social media page. And then I do that. Sometimes we'll have interviews. I sit in the interview and I listen to whatever thing that is interesting, something that is happening. And then I take a note. Okay, this is going to be a social clip. This is going to do well. This is going to, I'm going to cut this up from 10 seconds to a minute and 30 seconds. Like, this is going to be the clip that's going to be well. So I'll do things like that, and I'm doing editorials or writing articles for that interview. And yeah, that's pretty much my day. Just constantly thinking of content, posting content, creating content, or repurposing content. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can, if you want, you could go a little further on your hosting part of your week. You said that you usually leave the interviews to Friday or the weekend, so you
yes.
have like time to edit. But how do you pitch ideas? How do you pitch people? Get to the stories, locations,
Yes.
etc.
So in terms of that, I talked to, so he's the CEO, he's the creator, Johnny, and his daughter. So we're in a group chat, and then and sometimes I'll send emails too, but the fastest way is through our group chat. So I'll just say, hey, this week I'm thinking of doing a story on Latinas breaking barriers for the last week of Women's History Month, and that's how I pitch them the story. They'll say, oh, that sounds great, let's do that. Or the week prior, I pitched one of my friends from high school. He is now a chef, and he works in a Michelin star restaurant, Gwen. And he also does the like red carpet awards. So I don't know if you have seen in TV when they doing the awards and you see all the food that celebrities have. Well, his team cooks it. So him and the rest of Curtis Stone's team, they cook that food. And that's how I was able to tie it into Chicano Hollywood. It's talking about Hollywood, the award shows, and he's a Latino. So highlighting those things. And so that's how I pitch stories. I think of how I can spin it to bringing it back to the community as Latinos and bringing it back to entertainment. Like, what is the Hollywood factor to this? So yeah, I just reach out through Instagram. I'll say, hey, I would love to interview you. When are you available? Then I will give them dates, like I'm available Thursdays or Fridays, even Saturdays. And they'll say, okay, Friday, And then I'll go to location, and I'll kind of have in mind what I want to film. For example, intro, outro. The intro and the outro, I do it at the end because I don't want to waste time doing my intro and outro. When I get there, I want to go ahead and meet with the person, say, hi, nice to meet you. Like, granted, the interview that I've done, he was a friend of mine, so I knew him. But yeah, go straight into it, and then already think of what I want to record, how I want the video to look, kind of painting a picture of the location, kind of setting up looking at the place where I want to set up the camera, where I want to interview him. So that's what I do pretty much. Just think of everything like how I want to set up the shot and the things that I'm going to ask. And since it's about them, I pretty much let them do all the talking. And once everything's done and I feel like I got enough B-roll, which I always get more than I need because you never know. Like, as I'm putting the audio in or I'm saying my script, you never know. It's better to have more B-roll than not have enough and have to reuse clips. That actually looks really bad. So please, guys, get a lot of B-roll.
You heard it, everybody.
Yeah. And then I do my intro and my outro on camera at the very end, just so I know, like, okay, I got everything that I needed to, and then I could just focus on my intros and outros. And yeah, that's how I do it. And then in the weekend, I take that time, either all of Sunday or all of Saturday. I'm at home, I'm drinking coffee, I'm relaxed, I'm editing, and because I already have a game plan of what I wanted to do, I just kind of already set it in, I record my voiceovers, and I put it over the reel. So it's nice. So far that's working for me, and I'm really liking that. But I would say find what works for you. Like, for me, that works. Doing weekends, putting the weekends for myself, that works for me. But if maybe someone else, it doesn't work. So just find what works and go with that.
That is amazing that you work like 7 days of the week, basically, sometimes.
Yeah.
And, very admirable.
Yeah. And honestly, I think because my end goal, I know what it is. There was this quote from Oprah. I don't remember exactly, but she said something of like along the lines of, as long as you know where you're going or you know what the goal is, nothing really is going to stop you. Maybe you'll take a small detour, maybe you'll tumble, but you're going to get back on it because you know that goal. So I kind of know what I want already. And in the days that I am tired, for example, tomorrow I have a movie screening to go to, and that's going to be right after work. And I work every day, like 8-9 hours, sometimes 10 hours. I'm working like from the morning all the way till 5 p.m., 6 p.m. And then I just go to the movie premiere. But I remind myself, what is my end goal? Like this little being annoyed or being like tired or being like exhausted, this is just temporary. Like I know my end goal is so much bigger than this little moment where I just want to sleep.
And what is the goal, if you don't mind me asking?
No,
and
yeah.
Sharing with all of us.
Yes. So my end goal is, I can give you a scenario, exact scenario of how I see myself, and I think I'll probably cry or I'll realize my I've made it moment. It is the Oscars. I don't know what year, but hopefully soon. It's the Oscars, and I am standing in the side of behind the, what is it called?
The stage?
No, behind the guardrail, like where the reporters are.
Oh, okay.
So behind the rope, and I am with my microphone, and it says E-News, and I am interviewing all these amazing actors and actresses, and I'm talking to them about their movies and who are they excited to see and what are they wearing. And so seeing myself there, being a red carpet correspondent with a mic that shows E-News, I think I would just cry. And I would just realize like, oh my gosh, like I've made it. To me, that is I've made it. So working for E-News at NBC Universal, that would be wow.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
And I hope that it happens really soon for
I
you.
hope so too. In
Yeah.
God's name, that's my end goal, and that's the goal. Like that is my goal.
For sure. You already put it out there to the world. You put it out there here on the podcast.
They're going to go back to your podcast. Literally, they're going to say, no, actually, I will watch.
You're going to come back.
Okay,
but
yes,
as
I'm going to.
E-News reporter,
Yes,
okay?
I'm going to come back. And also on my first show, I'm going to say, also, I just want to share this audio with you guys that I took back in on Tuesday, March 28th, 2023, with my friend Bea, and listen to this, guys. That's what I'm going to say.
And it's 6:20 p.m., so there we go.
Yes, you're going to see. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. Now I got super excited.
Yes, yeah. Me too.
But I'm still figuring out my main goal, but I want to do radio.
Okay.
And I love audio, podcasting, radio. That's like my jam. If I can do a little bit of like social media, that's also cool. That's why you're a very like important guest, because I'm using literally all the conversation so I can put like in my mind, like, set my focus and everything like that we are talking about today. I'll probably listen to this episode. I'm gonna hate listen to my voice, but it's gonna be worth it.
Yes, and now we're gonna put it out there too. Again, it is 6:21, and we're gonna listen back to this episode when Bea has her own radio show, and she is going to. Do you want to do the mornings or afternoons?
I like mornings.
Okay, good, because mornings is like that's the number one show.
It's the prime time.
Yeah. So Bea's gonna have her morning show, and she's gonna be there, and then she's gonna have me on that show.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we're putting it out there too, guys.
Yeah, just like living it out
Yes.
until someone like come and pick us up. Say,
Yes,
hey,
yes.
come here. Job time.
Yes.
And, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say that we're going towards the end of our conversation.
Yes.
And I just have two other questions.
Okay.
The first one is, what is your main advice for people getting into the industry right now?
My tip to you is whatever skill you have, use it. It can be, let's say you love drawing. Well, guess what? They need a lot of graphic designers right now. They need people to post for social, like create graphics for literally anything. If you love, I'm trying to think, like me, social media. Well, guess what? They need a lot of social media people also in this industry. If you like video, if you like to take pictures, you're a photographer. Any creative medium, really, use that skill that you have as your advantage. And even if you don't have experience, create something on social media. It could be, start doing, whether it's free work or reach out to an organization and say, hey, I would like to do your social media, or I would like to create your flyers. Is that okay? I just want to get more experience. I want to have more. Yeah, I want to get more experience.
And before we finish, is there something else that you want to tell us? Any stories that we haven't discussed yet in the episode?
No, I think you actually touched on everything. You're amazing. Literally got me so excited, talking about everything, my dreams, my goals, how I started, how my day-to-day life. So no, I think you did great.
That's great.
You're
Thank
amazing.
You. You too. And so I just wanted to thank you so much, Luisa, for coming. And, I would cherish this episode because it's fantastic. Thank you so much. And for all of my listeners, don't forget to go to the show notes, check our website, go to our Facebook page, Journalist Talk, and Instagram, Bea Barros News. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.